Hi, I'm Richard Burns, and thanks for coming to In the Flow, the channel for spiritual beings about spiritual beings. All of our episodes are embedded with transformational energy. Thus, as you watch, you can receive healing energy.
I am Oracle Skia. I am a mystic, a guru. I am a sixth generational sleeping psychic, and that means I have the ability to do all of my psychic and intuitive work in my dream state. I am also a medical psychic and medical intuitive. How did I learn healing? I was born as a sixth generational sleeping psychic. I grew up in Jamaica with my grandmother, who's also a healer. She taught me how to go within from an early age, how to tap into nature, and that is how I learned healing, through my grandmother and how I was raised. I thought I was in love with someone, and that someone I thought broke my heart, and I cried for a whole week straight. After crying for a whole week straight, and I blamed this person for hurting me the way he did, um, I woke up to a pain in my back. I went to the doctor, and the doctor told me I had shingles. He told me I was under a lot of stress. And so I decided at that point that I had to learn how to control my emotions. So I started focusing on meditating, focusing on my emotions, and, not longer allowing anyone to control my emotions. And so I asked the question, who am I and why am I here? Because if I have to go through all of these emotions and learn how to control these emotions, who am I? So I meditated for 30 days, and every day I meditated longer and longer. I started out on day one, 10 minutes. Then I went into 20 minutes, an hour. And on the 30th day, I was in meditation for 3.5 hours. On that 3.5 hour mark, a bright light opened up to me. And I heard a voice say to me, "Be still, beloved." I thought I was going crazy. I jumped up out of my bed, and I heard the voice again say, "Be still, beloved." So I lay back into my bed. I felt the opening of my crown chakra, and then a surge of energy just came in like whoosh into my body. My heart started racing. My body started doing a wave like a dance. And then immediately I shot up out of my crown chakra. My being went up into what I would call a Merkaba. I saw a mystic by the name of Yogananda, and he said to me, "Welcome." Then my being bursted out into 1,000 pieces, and I just remember coming back and never being the same again. I realized in that moment, I asked the question, who was I? But I realized who I was not. I was not this body. I was not my name. I was not my religion. I knew in that moment I was everything and anything. So that's what happened to me. I definitely believe I was born with the ability to be a healer. And, early in my life, it was something I did not want to do. And so I feel as if I was pushed into it as an awakening, because we're running out of time. And, we need the healers to wake up. We are all born with the ability to be a healer. It's just that some of us choose in this experience to not be a healer, and some of us do. I got to the point where I am today, starting out as a young girl growing up in Jamaica. My grandmother was also a healer, and she taught me from an early age how to go within, how to tap into my higher self or source, and also receive healing through all of my experiences. When people come to me as clients, their common denominator is healing. Going through Ascension right now and having Ascension symptoms is very hard on a lot of people. People are sick, people are sad, people are depressed. So the common denominator is Ascension symptoms and how to get through it, how to make it through. Some clients I help through Reiki, distance Reiki. Some I help through mentoring. We do Zoom and we do mentoring. Some I help directly in person I'm a healing hands therapist as well, and I do Reiki. So those are some ways that I connect with my clients and help them. So it could be hands-on touching, it could be distance Reiki, or it could just be someone, to be there as a listener to really hear what's going on and show them how they can heal, how they can go within to heal themselves. Ascension is simply the shifting of all of us into a new vibration, a new energy. So we started out way back when with the cave people in a two-dimensional world. They didn't have a broader way of looking at things, right? And then the three dimension and now the fourth dimension. So ascension is simply the awareness of ourselves, like broadening and having a broader perspective or broader awareness in how we're looking at ourselves, how we're looking at the world. So ascension, it simply means that we're elevating from one state to another state. The first thing I see is the God and Goddess within. I know that although they're coming to me as a human being in this moment, that they're a God, they're a goddess experiencing. So I'm able to see that perfect being that they are right now. That's the first thing that I see. Once I see, the God within, the next thing I'm looking at is scanning their emotional, mental, spiritual, physical body. I'm scanning all of their bodies, including the higher self, to see what's out of balance and how to help them to get balanced and, back in touch with the source again. We have 7 different bodies, including the mental, the emotional, the spiritual, and so on. So most people are familiar with the 4, but we actually have 7, including the higher self. Our spirit is any way we want them to be. So, for example, I know all of my ancestors as they appear to me here. They look the same way in spirit. So everybody's going to see a spirit differently because it's based on what your experience is. So a spirit to some people could look like a ghost. A spirit to some people can be their loved ones. The way they appeared here is the way they appear there now. So for me, all of our loved ones, even when I communicate with someone else's ancestor, they come to me exactly as how they appeared when they were here. I think, when people are skeptical, they're just still in the 3D world and they're experiencing just like we are. We're all experiencing. So when someone's a skeptic, that is just their experience. They don't feel like that's something that's real, that's tangible, and that's just in their experience. They're in the 3D world still, and it's okay. The dimensions really is all about awareness. So, back in 2D world, the cavemen really didn't understand what we understand now in a 5-dimensional world. They had to go out and get their food. In a 3-dimensional world, yes, we have our food right here, right now, but we're still stuck on, negative states. We're still stuck on being sad, being depressed, going through anxiety, all of those things. When we shift into the 4th-dimensional world, we see less of that. We see more happiness, more love, more unity among each other, although we'll still see some negative states because we're in duality. So when we fully get into the 5-dimensional world, we will have none of that. No negative states. It will totally be about love, unity, harmony, compassion. All is one. Healing works because it's all we are. All of us are naturally healers. All of us are naturally light beings, and it's naturally in us. It's who we are. We are love, we are compassion, and we're naturally healers. In my teenage years, relationships were quite difficult because I had the ability to look at people at a soul level. I could see the things that they were doing wrong. I could see the things that, you know, they were doing behind my back, so to speak. And as a teenager, I wasn't, in full control of my emotions. So I would say those things. I would tell those people, this is what you're doing. This is what you're doing to me. And it would create arguments with people. It would create dysfunction. I would say someone that's at a young age and experiencing, these gifts as a spiritual gift or even being a healer, seek help. You cannot do it alone. That's the first thing I would say. And everyone has their own experience. So help could mean going to therapy, going to counseling, maybe taking medication. But there's so many avenues now to receive help as a spiritual being, as a spiritual person. So, call numbers. You can even go online and look up numbers to call to ask for help. I would say just really seek help because you're not alone. There's so many ways now to connect and help yourself. My life mission is to awaken each and every person that crossed my path, to help with the ascension of the planet, to help with the ascension of all of us here.